In the summer of 2013, after the acquittal of George Zimmerman, a man who shot and killed a black man named Trayvon Martin, an online movement was created using the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Yet here we are, 7 years later, still fighting for ethnic minorities to be treated the same as their white peers. But if you look back on history, the Civil Rights Act was signed in America in 1964. Let that just sink in for you. Years and years and years have passed since then, and we are still fighting. However, recently, the Black Lives Matter movement has taken on a skyrocketing surge because of the recent death of George Floyd, who was unlawfully killed by 4 police officers. Protests have been held around the world in support and in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. However, it is not just this case. There are many other cases of police brutality, of racism that go unnoticed, that go unheard of. For instance, the killing of Breonna Taylor, the killing of David McAtee, literally all within the last couple of weeks. It's time for change, and this video is here to kind of discuss everything that's going on and how you as a white person could potentially help with change. Another thing I want to add, and this is for anyone who thinks that, oh, but all lives matter. Let me educate you this way. I've seen this talked about on multiple platforms, especially TikTok, which I'm so happy about that people are trying to educate people. But if you are watching this video and you are of that opinion, then really educate yourself, because if you have 5 children and one falls over, are you going to give all 5 band-aids because one's cut their knee? No, you're going to help nurse and nurture the one that is injured. And currently in the world, black people, especially in America, are the ones that are being oppressed and killed unlawfully and unjustly. So let's first discuss the fact that racism is a major problem in America. Let's not forget that the United States of America is literally built on oppression. However, racism is not just a United States of America problem. It is a worldwide problem. For instance, in the UK, a black person who leaves with A levels in high school is typically paid 14.3% less than their white peers. In addition to this, in the period of 2018 to 2019, 103,379 hate crimes because of race were reported in the UK, which is a 10% increase than the year before, and this has increased steadily since Brexit was announced, because let's not forget that although not everyone who voted Brexit is racist, but everyone who is racist voted Brexit, and in some weird way it's given them this sense or ideology that their viewpoint is shared by a majority of people. And the same can be said for everyone who's voted Trump. Not everyone who votes Donald Trump is a racist. However, every single racist voted for Donald Trump, and again, kind of showed them in their own mind that the world and the United States of America shared their same viewpoint. In addition to this, going back to the United Kingdom, black people in the United Kingdom are 40 times more likely to be stopped by police and searched than white people are. Finally, institutional racism has been identified as one of the biggest problems in the United Kingdom. For those of you who don't know what institutional racism is, it is racial discrimination that has been established as a normal behaviour in societies and organisations. And let me give you examples of this. It is ideas or sayings or slang or derogatory terms that have been seen as okay to say because of the area that you live in. For instance, instead of saying, oh, do you want a Chinese tonight? A derogatory term is replaced for Chinese, which I won't say because it's not something I ever want to say, and I won't say on this channel. The thing with institutional racism is the fact that because people are so uneducated about racism, they often at times don't even realise that they are being racist. And that needs to change. That needs to be worked on to be stamped out in the United Kingdom and all around the world. Another thing I want to talk about is something that I hold and every white person in the world holds, and that is white privilege. And I've seen a lot of people online in the past couple of weeks get really offended when people say that they have white privilege. But it's a thing, it exists, and any white person has it. For those of you that don't understand what white privilege is inherent advantages possessed by a white person on their basis of their race in a society characterized by racial inequality and injustice. Let me put this in dumb terms for you. I have been discriminated against because of my disfigurement. One thing I will never be discriminated for is my skin tone. And the reason that I mention my disfigurement to begin with is to show, not that it's about me, because it really isn't. It's to show that yes, as white people, you can be discriminated for in different ways. For instance, if you are gay, if you are a female, if you look different from the norm. However, it's about understanding that you will never be discriminated against for your skin tone. Never will you have to book a holiday and wonder if the place that you are going is going to cause you to get hate because of your skin tone. Never will you live in an area that sees you as a second-class citizen. But here's where white privilege can be used for good. Right now in the world there is a cause to try and get black voices around the world heard. And social media apps like Twitter, Instagram and TikTok have been known because of their algorithms to favour white people. This is your chance to step up and show and use your platform for good. Make sure that black voices and stories are heard. Promote black creators and give them a platform to tell their experiences with racial discrimination. That is when white privilege can be used for good instead of using it for bad and just kind of, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't concern me. You're right, it doesn't concern you, but the movement will go along a lot faster if white people actually use their voice for the better, because you know, we tend to be the ones that are listened to the most. Some of you may be sitting there and thinking, what can I do as a white person? And let me explain to you what you can do as a white person. Educate yourself. There are many, many shows, films, documentaries that really will open your eyes and help you have a better understanding of what's going on in the world right now. For instance, if you have not watched before, I recommend that you watch the film 13th. It is on Netflix and it literally explains so much about the injustice in America going on currently and in the justice system, and how prisons are inadequately filled with black people. A series that I recommend you watch is also called When They See Us, which is based on the true story of 5 black men that were convicted and sentenced to jail for a crime that they never committed. Both are very eye-opening and quite hard to watch at times, but will honestly educate you in a way that you've probably never been educated before. Search the woman known as Jane Elliott. She is a civil rights activist, and honestly, growing up, for me, her talks helped open my eyes so much, because I do live in an area that is predominantly white. There was not a lot of black people at my school, if any, because I do live in such a small area, and she helped me understand that there is a bigger issue in the world, and it also helped me understand that there is stuff that I can do to help the process along. Another thing you can do is, if you're watching this and you have small children and you don't really know how to educate them because they are quite young, a great starting point is to show them Zootopia or Zootropolis, depending on where you are. It is a Disney film and it discusses racial profiling and prejudice in its own way, and will seriously help you open the discussion about how that is implemented in the real world. Another thing you can do as a white person is to join protests. Protests are going on all over the world. Stand in solidarity with black people. Another thing you can do, because coronavirus is going around the world right now and you may be shielding and can't leave the house or don't feel safe leaving the house because of coronavirus, a big thing that you can do is sign petitions. There are so many petitions going around right now, and I'm going to leave links to a lot of them in the description on this YouTube video, because and if you have the time, it will literally not even take you 20 minutes probably to just sign every petition. The one signature could make a big difference. Another thing you can do is, if you have money, donate to causes like Black Lives Matter or the George Floyd Memorial Fund. There are many other organisations that you can donate to that seriously will help black communities, ethnic communities, and it really will go a long way. Another thing you can do is call out brands. Call out brands that aren't inclusive and don't have a full range of different types of skin tones, models. Call them out. Call them out if they don't send PR kits to black creators. Do it. Another thing you can do is call out family, friends, co-workers, anyone that you see being racist. Call them out. Stand up for people who feel like they don't have a voice. Because that can be the first step to the person that you're calling out actually going and reading up and educating themselves, because part of the reason that people are racist is because they're not educated. Another thing that you can do, which I will leave a link to as well in the description, is sign petitions for racism to be discussed in schools up and down the country and all around the world, because I always find that a lot of the time people who are racist don't realise they're being racist or saying something that is racist. In some occasions, some people are just racist and that's horrible, but sometimes people don't know much about racism until they're called out on it, and then they go and learn and educate themselves and realise that what they were doing is bad. And I think if schools actually implemented courses in social education where they talked about racism more in depth and how it's wrong, it helps educate the younger generation. Thank you for watching this video. I don't know whether it sounds right or in my head. I'm just trying to use my platform, however small it is. If I can help send someone in the right direction or maybe educate one person, then I'm doing the best I can. Please be kind to people. It literally costs nothing. And just, yeah, be aware and educate yourself and spread love. And thank you for watching. And yeah, I will see you soon for another video, guys. Bye.